Do you ever get halfway through the summer holidays and feel as though you have wasted the entire holiday so far? Yeah, me too. But this is how you're going to prevent that happening. The real problem that you get over the summer holidays is that because you're so used to classes, you're so used to exams, you're used to that structure, the complete absence of structure over the holidays can make it really, really difficult for you to actually be doing the things that you want to do or to find a level of productivity that is going to make you feel satisfied, because it is so easy to just sit in bed for hours and hours scrolling on TikTok, but that is not going to be the best thing for you. So I'm going to be taking you through exactly how you can make the most of this summer using some productivity hacks. First of all, I've already mentioned that what you lack over the summer that you have during term time is a routine. So the obvious way to get around that is to build your own routine. But to wake up one morning and go, okay, I'm going to implement a morning routine, an afternoon routine, and an evening routine, and I'm going to do it all right from today, you're going to fail. Pretty much always, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to stick, and then you're going to feel even worse about yourself. The reason being, you are not hardwired to be able to suddenly switch your life around. Doesn't happen like that. As much as you might like to convince yourself, or as much as people online might like to convince you that that can be the case, you always need to build things up. You need to be creating these habit loops and reinforcing them over and over. So for example, pick whether you're going to start with a morning routine or an evening routine. Just select one of them. And you want to build what is known as a cue loop, which is where you have a bit of a cue at the start. So for example, your cue for your morning routine might be the simple action of getting out of bed. Your alarm might go off and you get immediately out of bed. That's quite a difficult one. I appreciate that. Not a lot of people like to get out of bed as soon as their alarm goes off, but that would be the trigger for the rest of your routine to then set in motion. And before you sort of say, this is exactly what I'm going to do in my routine, what you should do is list a bunch of things that you do want to accomplish. So for example, that might be go and get some fresh air, it might be drink a glass of water, it might be cook yourself breakfast, it might be do some skincare. Write them all down and write down a corresponding time frame. And think about what is genuinely realistic for you to be doing every morning or every evening or every afternoon, whenever this routine is going to occur. Because if you overload it, if you have a 2-hour morning routine, you are not going to be motivated to do that every day. It is going to be highly, highly unlikely that you complete it. However, if you have a 30-minute morning routine, then that is going to be so much more achievable. It's going to be much easier for you to implement. So set out timings, set out tasks, and then prioritize those ones that you really want to go into your morning routine. And I would say spend a week on your first routine. And then once you think that is sticking, move on to the next. One of the biggest complaints that I hear a lot about the summer period is just that feeling of boredom. What do you even do? And the best way to get around that is obviously to do things, but that is the problem. What to do? So at the start of your summer, take a day to just sit and think about a bunch of things that you want to complete. Create a summer bucket list of sorts and categorize things into different sections, whether that is like physical goals, going for a run every day or going for a walk every day, visiting a certain waterfall that's near you or hiking a mountain, whatever it is. You can think about academic goals, things such as studying for half an hour a day, reading some books, doing any summer reading or summer work that you might have. You could have personal goals, things like starting a journal or learning how to cook or perhaps even learning a new language. But I want you to be really kind of clear and concise and really specific about what these goals exactly are. So to say, okay, my goal is to learn to cook, that's not going to be as achievable because you're going to see that on your list and that's not something that has a clear defined pathway. So you're going to be less likely to, when you're bored, pick it up and go, okay, I'm going to cook, because there isn't a clear step-by-step process. So it might be something like, okay, I'm going to learn how to bake bread, for example, and that is very clear, that is very specific, and that is how you want to be framing all of your goals. Studies have shown that when you frame goals in those ways, it becomes a lot easier for you to achieve them. Your brain finds it easier to comprehend that goal and you're more likely to stick to it, it's more consistent, and then you're going to be one step closer to becoming the person that you want to be by the end of the summer. Importantly, you do need to be building in time to rest over the summer. Now that might be the most obvious thing to you, but sometimes the constant feeling of needing to be productive or needing to have something done every single day kind of defies the purpose of the summer holiday, because you're replacing the stress that you would otherwise have being in class or having exams with the stress of feeling as though you have to be productive and do something every single day. And while sitting in bed every single day is likely to not be very productive for you either, you want to be making a very good balance between having the time to quite literally do nothing or not literally sitting down and staring at the ceiling, unless you are particularly partial to that, but even reading a comfort book, watching your favorite television show, cooking a meal that you really, really enjoy. You need to be balancing those sorts of things with those other goals that may be more like doing summer work or learning new things.